Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars. And we've got one for you today, a man who's currently on tour with Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. And then he's going on tour this summer by himself in GLORIA. Joe McElderry, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
What's it like being you? I mean, there you are, semi-naked, 8 times a week, and you have these adoring fans. You're one of the few that's made it, really. You're consistently in work and evergreen and popular. That's wonderful.
Thank you. That's a very nice compliment. You know, I've always just been prepared to work hard, I suppose. I'm not shy of a bit of hard work. I've always been very thankful for the opportunities and the support I've had of people, you know, and I never take it for granted, you know, and I think that's kind of the only... And I've got a great team of people that work behind the scenes, so I can't take all the credit myself.
You, of course, are a stud muffin. I'm deeply unattractive. What is it like standing there and having that adulation all those times a week? Because let's face it, you don't wear very much, do you?
No, it's not my idea of fun, I have to be honest. I've kind of become really used to it, and luckily, I mean, we do 10 shows a week, so the fact that we do that it keeps us in half decent shape. But when you're having one of them days where you feel a little bit rubbish about yourself, and I'm kind of ready to just go out with a loincloth, and I always do think, oh God, here we go. I do a little countdown in my head and just be like, 1, 2, 3, first reveal. Once everybody's seen it, we're done.
I always do that with partners. I think just get it out the way first. They can laugh, and then we'll carry on, and hopefully something will happen. And it's a good theory with show business, I suppose.
Yeah, should apply that, yeah. But yeah, I think I've become very used to it, and you know, it's one of those things, obviously I did the tour for 6 months last year as well, so I knew coming into this year what I expect, and I was very healthy over Christmas. I didn't kind of overindulge too much, and I was working a lot as well, which kind of kept us out of trouble in terms of just sitting around and eating and lazing around. So but yeah, I exercise, I keep fit, and all the boring things that you have to do anyways, so it's a great incentive to stay in shape, because you don't want to sit and eat a burger and fries before a show, because you're going to have a big food baby in front of everyone.
Right, let's talk about you, because here you are at Joseph, and this, let's face it, is not the biggest show on earth. What it does have is great tunes and an incredible cast, and by the end it is this party. Yeah. You also have this beauty within your voice that Joseph needs. We've got to sort of fall in love with him, because of course it's not a nice story, is it? No,
not really. And I think, you know, it's got a lot of kind of Panto-West comedy in it as well, in terms of looks to the audience and all of that. And I do have that kind of, I have to make the audience believe in us from the beginning and want us to do well. It's that character that kind of, he's the underdog, you know. Nobody kind of believes he has these dreams, and they think he's a bit of an idiot. They get him kidnapped and sent off, and so it's quite a nice part for me to play. It has emotion in there, it has a comedy in there, and it has a great happy ending at the end, which is lovely. And like, you know, I love doing the mega mix at the end, because for me, my solo career is still a huge part of my career as well, you know, and I split my time between doing this and that. So for me, that kind of end bit at the mega mix, it really allows us to connect with the audience on my level, you know, of out of character. I can get them to clap along, I can get them to sing along, I can wave to people and really kind of feel that connection as well outside of the character.
I guess you were born doing this. I mean, you're a showman, you always have been, and that's what we got to see when you shot to fame, and of course the X Factor and all that stuff. I think the beauty in Close Every Door, it is the most beautiful version I've ever heard, and it's a big number that. It starts low and goes incredibly high. These aren't easy numbers that Andrew wrote, are they? No, they're not, and
they're also very... they're also very conversational, in the sense of that if you oversing them, it spoils them. It has to. A lot of it is because there's no script, should we say? It's all sung through, especially for Joseph as well. So you've got to be really careful not to kind of sing through it too much, otherwise it loses that storytelling. But same as with Lucy with the narration, you're storytelling through it, and there's not a moment where you can kind of stop and go, and this is what happens now. It's all through the songs, which I think is the beauty of it. But it's you've got to be careful of not to oversing it.
And she's wonderful as well. We're going to talk to Lucy in a bit. She really is, and I think you two obviously steal the show. But what a great chemistry between you. Although you're not playing off each other, if it doesn't work between you two, I think the show probably would fall apart.
Well, yeah, I mean, and the thing that we obviously do in the show, for the first... Well, pretty much for the first of Act 1, she's kind of invisible to Joseph. She's kind of his little kind of guiding light, but I don't know that she's there, you know. And it's not until the end that we really get to kind of connect with each other and sing with each other together. But it is that kind of thing of we kind of have to be aware of each other at all times, because it's a very important relationship that people are viewing without me supposedly realising that she's there, if that makes sense.
Have you in your head made it now? I mean, as we sit here in one of the most beautiful theatres, certainly in the country, selling out an amazing show that everybody's heard of, you're going on tour by yourself under your own banner. I mean, you are living the dream, and you do realise most people who come from that type of reality show, whether it be X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, do have sort of a window of opportunity, and then it quickly fades. Yeah. You've managed to survive and end up bigger than the rest. It's extraordinary.
Well, I mean, I think the industry itself is a tough industry, full stop. Whether you come from X Factor or whether you don't, whatever avenue you choose to come down, I think they're all very tough and all very ruthless in very different reasons. But I think the thing with me, I've never sat still, and I've never sat and went, all right, I can rest on it now. And I think that's the important thing. I've always had an ambition, I've always had a drive, and I always am looking to the next thing, and I'm always aware that you can always improve as well and get better. And I think it's important to do that. I think so many people, I see it when I travel around and when I go to events in London, you see these people that have all of these people around them that just tell them everything's wonderful all the time. That unfortunately isn't how life works, and I think that very slowly it filters into their brain about their career and about their abilities, and I think a lot of people kind of get to a point and think, oh, I can just chill out now, it doesn't really matter anymore. I've always just wanted to sing. I've always wanted people to leave a show and say that was brilliant or he was brilliant, and I really enjoyed that, and that kind of drives me to want to be good for everything that I do. I want it to be a certain quality, it's important, and I've always had that, and I think hopefully I'll always have that, and I would like to say that the minute I don't have that, I don't think I would do it, because I don't think I would be in it for the right reasons.
And let's talk about life on the road, because the good thing about this show, it's a young, sexy cast mainly, and you can have fun with it. I can't imagine doing a two-hander can be much fun going around on months on end. Is it a party? Do you enjoy it, or are you disciplined and one of these that goes home and sort of gargles with glycerine and goes to bed? I
think we've kind of got a nice balance between, we're very lucky that in the sense of it's a very intense schedule through the week, and we do 10 shows, but then we do get 2 days off over the weekend, and we're not in till Tuesday till about 3:00, so we kind of get a long weekend in that sense, unlike a lot of other touring shows. So we're lucky in that sense, but through the week we have to cram 10 shows in, so we do have to be disciplined, but we also, we're not saints. We do have a party now and again, and we go out and we socialise. This cast are really, really sociable, which certainly helps. It makes the time go quicker. Everybody gets on really well, which helps as well. We're around each other all the time. But I'm always kind of a stickler for that. I'm always about the teamwork and keeping everyone gel together and not kind of creating divides and problems, because I just think it filters into the show then, if you have them problems, before you know it, you can see the tensions on stage and the audience aren't stupid. So I'm always like, come on guys, we've got a show to do, like shake it off, let's do it.
You seem to have a sort of that Shane Ritchie, Bradley ethic, which is that you are in a business, it may be show, but you're here to do a job. And you always seem to have had that. You've always done this, and certainly in Panto, your reputation is remarkable that you turn up and deliver. There are some that sign the contract and then are unavailable. You just can't get away with that long term, can you?
No, I don't think you can. I think if you want to be a flash in the pan, you can. I think if you want a long career, you have to earn your respect, and similar to an audience going away and saying that they had a great time and loved the show, I want people that I work with to say that about us as well. I don't want people to go away and go, oh my God, he was an absolute nightmare. I would like to think they wouldn't say that. I'm quite easygoing, I'm chilled out, and I just want, like I said, the only time a problem would ever arise is if something was affecting the show for the audience. The audience, I have a lot of respect for an audience. They pay the money, they are the reason we get to do our jobs, and I think that in itself, they deserve a certain standard of an energy and performance level, and you can't just go on and be like, all right, here we go. Let's just roll through this and see what happens. When I go on, I'm ready for it. I'm in the moment and off we go.
And then we look at your fans, who I've noticed are incredibly dedicated. Yeah. Is that great? I don't have fans really. Nobody particularly likes me. But what's it like to be at stage door? I noticed earlier the stage manager was saying, they're always there and they want to see you and you give them time too. It's a two-way thing.
I've been very, very blessed from day one. I've had a very loyal supporter following, and they've kind of stuck with us through thick and thin so far, which has been really, really, in a way, it's slightly overwhelming to think that people care about you that much and really, really want you to do well. And I say, I've said this on stage in my shows before, it gives you an unbelievable connection with people like that, because they love something that I do and love so much. Like, I stand on stage and I love it every night, and they love it as much as I love it. So that in itself, to have that connection, and I feel it when I do Joseph, because I feel that this show has an incredible fan base on its own as well. So you combine that with people who have been very supportive to me, and then when I go out on the road with my shows, to have a room full of people like take time out of their schedule to come and see your show and like want to just sit and watch you for 2 hours is, to me, is like a huge compliment, and I don't take it lightly. And I think to have all of those people in one room just sharing your music with you is a huge connection, and I always every other night I kind of have a like, wow, this is pretty cool.
What else would you like to do? I mean, would you like to do maybe a Jean Valjean or a Phantom? What's next for you?
I think, I'm bringing a new album out in the summer, obviously in just before the tour starts, the GLORIA tour. And then we do Joseph again from September, and we've just announced it. We're finishing Newcastle Arena over Christmas, which is going to be very special. And then I've got to a point now where I tried to predict things so many years ago, and I tried to go, this is what I'm going to do, and I'll probably end up doing this, and I'll do that. And then I just thought, do you know what it is? I'm very fortunate that I get lots of wonderful opportunities, and now I just kind of think, can I have fun with it? Can I enjoy it? Will people coming to see it think that I can do a good job in that? And if them three things I can tick it off, then I think, let's try it. Let's have a roll with it. I'm not scared of a challenge. I'm not scared of a bit of hard work. And I kind of that's kind of my rule book, because I've done things in my career so far that I never in a million years imagined I would have done. And they turned out to be some of the best experiences I've ever had. So I think predicting things and saying, I'm going to do that role, I just think, just see what happens. You never know what's around the corner.
And does it ever become normal when you open a newspaper and there you are, whether it's a story you like or you don't like? I mean, that's extraordinary too. I know in your sphere and your world that's normal, but for people like me, when I see it, sometimes I think, oh my God, that must be the most amazing thing in the world, but equally it must be frustrating. Does that become normal?
I don't think it ever becomes normal, and I think that's the kind of key point in it. I've almost never welcomed it into my life, in terms of I've never went out there to seek publicity for stupid things. I mean, obviously you need publicity for your shows and your album and things like that. That's a different kettle of fish. But I've never tried to seek publicity for the wrong reasons. I never wanted to be famous. I just wanted to be a performer. And I'm very aware that the fame thing is a very huge attachment to that. And you do need it. You need it for shows, for people to come and see, to know where you're going to be on at and all of them kind of things. But I kind of treat it with respect. I kind of know it's there. I don't pay a lot of attention to it, but I treat it with respect. I don't abuse it, because I think it can be a very dangerous thing, and too much of it can mess things up a little bit. So I just kind of, it's in the background.
But equally, as you walk past a beautiful building like this, a tremendous theatre, and your face is all over it, again, there must be pinch you moments where you think this is remarkable, albeit slightly embarrassing.
Yeah, it certainly keeps the burglars away. They put them all over and nobody wants to burgle the building. It's fabulous. No, it's amazing. That part of it, to think that only 7 years ago I was performing in a restaurant in South Shields, and now I travel all over the country and get to see posters everywhere. That's a very humbling thing, and it's incredible. But I do walk past it and think, oh God, some mornings I don't look like I look like on that picture today. So head down and straight in the venue.
Any hope of seeing you tonight with Philip next door?
I don't know. Let's see. That's all I'll say. Let's see. We've had a conversation. We're going to try and make something work. fingers crossed, we'll see. It's all about the timings. Where shows are on at exactly the same time. If there's a window of opportunity where we can kind of sneak through one or the other, we both really want to do it. We'll see what happens from there.
You're remarkably talented. Your performance in this is extraordinary. I think Close Every Door is the most beautiful I've seen in any theatre, whether it be in the West End or on tour. We wish you all the best with Gloria, which is on tour July and August, and then you're back in this for the autumn, and Newcastle at Christmas as well. Thank you so much for your time, Joe McElderry.
Pleasure. Thanks for having us.